Hi, everyone. This is Laura with Laura's View and Tarot 2. If you can see me, would you please, and hear me, would you give me a thumbs up or give me a 5 by 5 or however, some kind of indication? We have had times in the past when YouTube either didn't allow good audio or video. So I want to make sure we've got both going. If we don't, I'll quickly start a new Take Two live stream. It just takes a minute to pop one up. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Adele. Okay, I see a couple people saying we're good. All right. Well, I want to welcome everybody. It's 2 o'clock. It's time to start. And thank you so much for being here. We have reached already the critical number needed. That's assuming that everybody's here to participate and not just simply to observe. And if you are here to observe, that's fine. But we're looking for active participants. And believe it or not, it only takes 20 to make a change in our world. So we'll get more than that. We've already got 57. We're good. Again, welcome and thank you so much for being here. I welcome you if you are here with positive intention and energy, or if you're here simply to observe out of curiosity or interest, but not ready to participate yet. I want to just real quickly say, if you're here to provide negative energy, either in the comments or towards those that are meditating, we are going to very quickly be removing that negative energy. We're going to be redirecting it so you can keep pumping it out, but it's going straight to source to be purified and repurposed and renewed according to the creator of all creators, the source. Perfect decision on what to do with it. Okay, so to that end, because I want to give that possibility as little energy as possible, but I want us to be protected. When I count down from 3, if you're here providing positive energy for the meditation, will you please take a second to visualize, however you want to visualize, negative energy being redirected, sent to source. I think of it as dandelion fluff that just goes that way. And other people think of it as rerouting some circuitry or wiring or things like that. However, the visualization works best for you. And a negative energy that is being sent to interfere with our purpose and our desires and our focus. Whether that is coming at us from being sent back from the future or up from the past or parallel to us in any way, let's send it to be repurposed, okay, and purified and renewed, and not our concern. In 3, 2, 1. Not our concern. In 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, like I said, they can keep pumping it out, but it's been redirected and it's not our concern. We're in a perfect bubble of light and love and pure positive energy, and we're going to stay there. And our focus, our meditative focus, is always going to remain in that bubble. I'll explain as we go. You see, if you're new to the meditations, this may not go the way you picture them or maybe the way other people do them. I didn't do a comparison. This has just kind of evolved over time. But one of the things I'm very aware of is the fact that in the past, and which is kind of aligns with our purpose, our main focus today, talking about savvy contracts and consent. In the past, people with good intentions would offer their energy in a large group setting, whether it was one of worship or meditation, and that energy was transmuted or changed and used for purposes that they really hadn't explicitly and expressly intended. So we very intentionally protect our energy and ourselves as we move into this meditation so that you can contribute as much positive light and love as you care to at no risk to yourself or to your energy ever being used for another purpose. So just very clear and transparent as far as what our intent here is. First of all, we operate on a principle of free will. We participate with free will. And when we focus or meditate with an eye towards others, it's only in accordance with their free will to accept it. If they were aware that we were sending them love and light and they'd want it, it's theirs. If for whatever reason they wouldn't want to be the focus of that meditation, that energy, that hope, we are not going to compel anybody. We are simply going to offer it, and if it'd be welcome, it's there for them. Again, we're in a free will universe and we don't want to violate that in any way, either with what we focus or what we intend or where we send our energy. Okay, so right now, if you are here to join the meditation and you've got good intent, I My intent is that you will be protected from evil in any form before, during the meditation, and beyond. Okay? Before, during, and after, you are protected. Okay? We've removed negative energy or redirected it in case there was some still headed this way. Okay? And any positive intention stated in this meditation or our primary focus may never be used, converted, or transmuted to other purposes, ever. So our intent and our focus and our energy is protected in perpetuity, forever. Now, we intend that the energy of love and light given in this meditation be bestowed in equal measure back on those of us who give it. So we feel Source's love and know that our meditation will have made a positive impact in our world. In other words, may our personal resources of love and light fill up even faster than we send it out. This is how we learn to be a conduit, so we don't have to deplete ourselves or empty ourselves or put ourselves at risk when we send out large bursts of energy or love to others, because we learn to be a conduit from a source that has no limits. Okay? We are just some good underground cables. Now, let's make sure that we kind of protect our energy. No, kind of about it. We have protected our energy. We have protected ourselves. Okay? We have also asked that we be graced with, refilled love and resources as fast as we give them out. And so hopefully everybody will leave here feeling really positive and energized, and like they contributed some meaningful minutes to this meditation. And speaking of meaningful minutes, I do try to keep these to 30 minutes or less so that you're not at risk of falling asleep too much. I do know I have one meditator. She told me that she stretches out on the floor and listens to me. And one time she did go to sleep. Now, if that were to happen, or you couldn't make this at the starting time, let's talk about that. Time is a false construct. It's a human construct, okay? And we don't have to worry about it. So if you are listening to this years in the future and you think the energy we were doing today and provided, was of use, that it was valid, that you wish you had been there, you can be there. Send your energy back to us, okay? Or you fall asleep, you wake up later, finish it later. It's fine. We are so powerful with our energy, and we were told we haven't been taught about our power. And I'm just a student like you are. I'm learning as I go. Okay. And so I don't claim to be coming at this from a mastery angle, just as someone who is learning and willing to learn more and willing to share what I've learned so far. So that's where we're at as far as me being the eyes and the vocal part of this meditation. But your energy is extremely important, and I thank you so much for contributing it. Let's make sure we're ready for that meditation. First of all, our posture. Mine could use improving. Okay. We have chakras in our body. They go in a straight line, kind of following our vertebrae. So as much as you can, try to have your posture be straight. Okay. And and I think I just saw a wisp on here. I'll have to check the recording later. Okay. Because we attract positive energy, and sometimes that isn't just people. So we may have lots of zippy little visitors today. Who knows? Check your posture. Make sure you're sitting as straight as you possibly can. Okay. So that you're allowing yourself to be that pipeline, that conduit of eternal and never ending energy. And you're opening yourself up to it according to your free will. Okay. And your faith practice. By the way, quick little rabbit trail on faith practice. I have one. I'm trying to run this meditation in a very non-denominational way because I'm no longer part of any organized religion, but I do have a faith practice, and I will try to do this non-denominationally. I don't want to impose my beliefs on anyone. And I know that there's people from different positive walks of faith paths that participate, or that just want to be here, energetically, in a good, just spiritual way. All positive energy is welcome. So if I slip or say a word that gives you a hint what my faith path might be, it's not intentional, and I'm not trying to force anything on anybody. Okay. And I welcome anybody, as I've said several times and will always say, if you're here with positive, peaceful intention, you are welcome. Absolutely. Okay. So our posture is pretty straight. Now a quick stress test. Because we come to this meditation having our day probably at some point. It's very few of us are seeing this first thing in the morning. So we've had to deal with life. And check your shoulders. Because if your life's had some stresses today, for whatever nature or reason they might be, you're going to be feeling that tension in your shoulders. I sometimes catch myself walking around like this. I really do, and I have to put my shoulders down. So take a second and put your shoulders down. If they were already down, force them down a little farther and feel that stretch. It should feel really, really good. Okay, and it's a very quick way to see. And we are tricking our body by forcing ourselves into a no stress posture. It makes our body think, oh, okay, I can relax. Stress reasons are gone. So have those shoulders be down. Okay, so that shoulder check is vital. It's something you can do even if you're driving or something like that. Just throughout your day, check those shoulders, bring them down. Okay. Now, speaking of driving, here's another thing you can do. Sometimes it's an intentional breathing exercise that will also do this because you can't necessarily go into the 3 breaths I'm going to do in a minute, where most of us are probably going to close our eyes. So if you're driving along and you feel like you really need to de-stress and focus and be making good decisions, or you're walking into or out of a meeting and you need to shake it off a little bit or be ready for it, whatever it might be, do a double breath in and then one long breath out. Okay, it should look like this. Hold and out. I call it the double tap breath. I know there's other names for it, but 2 in and 1 out. And hold for a second in between. And you should feel, as I exhale, I bring my shoulders down. It feels really good. It doesn't take a lot of time. And the more we face life without letting ourselves be all constrained energetically and not letting our energy flow in the best and healthiest way, the better we can face life and again, make that difference in our world. Now we're going to take 3 breaths before we get into the meditation itself. And again, if you're a newer viewer, it's like, she's talking so much, but we want to protect our energy. We want to be ready so that in that focus minutes of the meditation, we are working at optimum capacity. Okay. So again, we all have energy that's either in us, on us, directed towards us, intended to us, that's not always positive and light filled. And some of it's just residual from the stress and pressures of daily life. So we're going to do 3 breaths in and out. And I want you to visualize as you do them. Okay. The first breath in, of course, each of the breaths in are going to be fabulous, the best, most pure and wonderful, sparkling, light-filled air that could ever have come into your body is going to be all 3 breaths in. And the first breath out is going to contain any residual stress or negativity that is impeding your energy flow for the meditation. The second breath out, some of you might get it done with 1 breath. And by the second breath, it's as sparkling coming out as it is in. Again, it's clearing that conduit that is your body, that is your posture, to allow love and light to flow, to give it, to receive it. So, and by the third one, everybody should be as clear in as they are out as they are in. Okay. So first, get ready for those breaths. We're going to in, hold, and then out. So inhale. And as we exhale, picture that. So in with, picture that. So in with clean. Ready? Hold and out. And of course, any dinginess to that exhale is going to our loving, to source, to our loving creator, to be purified and renewed and repurposed. Second breath in, ready? Hold and out. Shoulders coming down as we go. Okay. And then the third breath in, ready? Hold and out. Okay, guys, we are as ready as we're going to be for the meditation. Okay. The focus this month is on making savvy contracts and consent. Again, I am by no means a master of this. I'm a student sharing what I know. One thing I now know and understand is we have been tricked and deceived into using language that binds us to an agreement that we didn't consciously and expressly agree to. And we need to be aware of that. Okay. I make a practice now, sometimes more than once a day, to just say any consent that I gave in an implied fashion. In other words, if my consent was implied, I revoke it, I recall it, I rescind it, and that energy comes to me. From now and across all planes of my existence forevermore, my consent needs to be informed and expressed. No more implicit, implied consents allowed. Now, here's an example of implied consent. You like to read fiction. You buy a book that talks about the zombie apocalypse. It's just brain candy for you. It's fiction. But that, by buying the volume, the book, and reading it, in the past, there have been some who said that they now had implied consent because you voluntarily indulged in that topic, that subject matter. So just again, we want to make sure that any implied consent we've given by watching media or by nodding our head along to music without listening to the lyrics to see what they were really saying, whatever that implied consent was, I don't want to be giving it anymore to anyone. And so I want that to be kind of one of my focuses here. And one of the things I explain is the power of implied consent. And while there's power in it, obviously, or they wouldn't be trying to harvest it from us, it can be revoked and stopped. So if this resonates with you and you would like to revoke any implied consent you've given, please take a second to do that. I'm going to talk my way through it again. You can kind of follow along if you want to and use your own words. But I just want it to be known across all planes of my existence that any consent I gave from an implied starting point is revoked. Implied consents are recalled. And they are negated. They are gone. Forevermore, consents I give are going to be informed and explicit only across all planes of my existence. So that's kind of where we're going with savvy consent, is knowing what we agree to. Again, I'm coming at it from not a master angle, but a student angle. I would like to, at this point, remind everybody that the word understand, which is supposed to only mean comprehend, has a dual meaning that has been used against the human race. When you say you understand, you're saying you agree to stand under the authority of. So I still find myself saying understand. I do. I mean, even though I know it, it's hard to break a lifetime of habits. But I've tried to make a very purposeful and intentional decision that in the future, if I'm asked, do you understand? I'm going to respond with, I comprehend. I'm still polite. I'm answering in the affirmative, but I'm not agreeing to stand under whatever we might be talking about. Okay? So I comprehend. I don't think that can be construed other ways, but the word understand can. So again, some of these savvy consents. Now, savvy contracts. We enter into contracts. It is my belief that we have made contracts before we were here. We make them after we're here, when we make vows of marriage, when we adopt a child, when we sign up to be foster parents, when we adopt an animal. We enter into contracts. And I had someone that's asked if I could make the focus of this meditation be one of having the United States leave certain world organizations. That would be compelling others. It would be kind of a violation of free will. So I think what's good is to talk about contracts again, and then think of them in a personal context, and then a national one and a world one. Okay, that we want to be very intentional and smart and savvy beyond our wildest hopes and dreams in entering into contracts that serve our best light-filled purpose, and knowing that we can verbally end those contracts. We can call an end to those contracts if we determine that they weren't loving and light-filled and serve the highest light field purpose. So I'm going to think of a personal one for myself, a contract I've entered into. I volunteer at my grandson's school. Didn't sign a contract, but I told them I would be there 4 days a week. As far as I'm concerned, that's a verbal contract and it's binding. And I'm there for a couple hours, 4 days a week. And the days I can't be there, I email and let them know. I treat it as if I was being paid for the position. So again, these are contracts we make. I adopted Nova and she wasn't well socialized, but I made a contract that she is mine for life. I am hers for life. And we're going to have the best possible life we can. Again, some of these contracts are ones you make just with your heart or verbal. They don't have to be written contracts. We probably got a very minimum of the written ones, but I believe all contracts can be very binding. They should be done seriously. And again, when you review and think, I might have actually entered into a contract with that agreement, and no, I'm not okay with it now that I've thought about it. You can revoke and recall and rescind the energy given in that contract. Okay, and feel free to if it's not serving the highest light field purpose. Okay, that's not to say I'd ever get rid of Nova. She may never be a snuggler and cuddler, but she does. She lays beside me at night and stuff. But again, contracts you enter into. There have been some that we've been tricked into or that just no longer serve our purpose. And it's okay to review those and revoke them if they don't. So I've shared a personal one with you, and hopefully as I've been talking, you've thought of a personal situation where I entered into a contract. I was talking with a friend and she said, I remember the time I was on the phone and my daughter asked me a question and I nodded my head and I found out I had volunteered to be a chaperone on an overnight field trip. We have all been surprised at some of the contracts we've gotten into by not being fully aware of all the ramifications or possibilities. So let's see ourselves from here, from today, from this moment forward, entering into contracts, whether they're verbal or contracts of the heart or the spirit, that they're contracts that serve the highest good, the highest purpose, and that they align with where we want our souls, ourselves to be going and our world to be going, that we're very intentional and savvy about those contracts, both in entering into them and to saying this is no longer working for the highest good. It needs to be voided. Now let's take a minute and think about our leaders. Okay. I know we have people that join here from other locations in the United States. We've got people here from Canada. Hi, Larry. Australia, New Zealand. And then over time, I've got sometimes I look at the countries that have, unless people are using VPNs, that the countries that listen to my content, it's always amazing how far they reach out. So we've got Ireland and England and, lots of countries and some that I wouldn't think of as being too, ones where English is well understood or spoken. And surprisingly, I have people from those areas. So think about where you're at. Think about people that are in leadership positions, especially those that we know are trying to do good and bring our world from dark to light. And so I'm thinking of and I may be saying names that you don't agree with, but I truly believe that that is the purpose of Donald Trump and a lot of his administration. I truly believe Viktor Orban in Hungary, that's his intent and purpose. I've been very impressed with some of the decisions I see that Danielle Smith in Canada, she makes. So we know that there are leaders that are really trying to do good things for the people, okay? Or they're not in leadership positions yet, but they would be fantastic if they were. Okay, so we want to think of those people that we have a very strong hunch that they're in the light, or that they're enough in the light that the light is using them for light field purposes. Okay, think of them, and let's just take a minute to close our eyes, picture whoever you've thought of as I explain this, and let's send them the intention that they make the smartest, savviest contracts possible. I know that Donald Trump said Art of the Deal was his book, and we know that he's great at 5D chess and looking ahead and seeing eventualities, but let's just intend that any skills and abilities he has are magnified you know, in unbelievable ways so that he can. So if it is time for the United States to leave this or that organization, or to change a path of an organization, or to abolish an organization, that it's all done very thoughtfully, very lovingly, and it's the purpose is light filled and positive. The net positive being for the human race, for citizens or the human race. Okay. All right. So take that. I'm going to count down from 10 as we close our eyes if you wish to, and think of those situations, and just let's intend that this skill of savvy contracting and savvy consent is something that's extended into people in positions of authority across this plane of existence. Okay, ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now think of others in your personal bubble of acquaintances, family, friends. Again, we're not going to violate anyone's free will. But if there are those that you know and love, that you would like them to be wiser and more intentional in consents they give and contracts they agree to, take a minute to think of those people, loved ones in your life. And again, in accordance with their free will. If they're quite happy with how they enter into agreements or don't, that's fine. We're not going to force anything on anybody. But I know I want those I love and care about, I want them to be growing in their discernment, in their skills, in their perspicacity about contracts and consent. So I'm going to think of those people in my life, and I'm going to close my eyes and actually visualize and count down from 10 for those. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we have protected our energy, protected ourselves. We started the meditation. We talked about consents. We talked about being wiser with giving or revoking those consents. We talked about contracts, how they're not necessarily just on paper, but there's some that we agree to maybe from the heart or verbally or what have you. Again, being more intentional about those we enter into and asking for that same intentionality and skill of increased discernment about it to be available to those we love and care for, and even those that are currently in leadership positions or trying to help bring our world from dark to light. We also talked about the very powerful tool of revoking and rescinding any consents that no longer serve the highest good and positive. And again, talked about the practice of maybe making a practice on a daily basis, if not more often, of saying any consent that I gave in an implied fashion is no longer valid. It's returned to me, it's revoked, it's rescinded. And as I said, I take it one step further and say from this day on, across all planes of my existence, any consent I give needs to be informed and expressed, explicit. So that's what I have for this meditation today. Let's look at the time here. It's 2:28. We're coming up on just time is just about perfect. If you've been watching along and you had a positive need you wanted to share or thought you wanted to share, you have a couple more minutes to get those comments here into the chat box, and they'll be part of the record. But don't forget, this meditation is going to be available to be viewed on under the tab that says live for my channel, and you can comment there, express needs or whatever it might be. You can express whatever you need to there in the comments, and my moderators and I do go back through and read those, and I know some of the people that participate do. And again, there's times that we see a need or something shared and we say, hey, I'd really like to give some energy to that. And then there's times where it just doesn't resonate with us, and that's okay too. But share it, and we might be able to send some energy your way that can help your situation. Okay? So that's it for this meditation. I'm going to say we're going to take a deep breath here and thank everybody for participating and being part of this, either just as an observer or an active participant. We had more than enough energy to make a change. Now, can it be a change that's quantified? Maybe on a personal level, we'll have some anecdotal, hey, I was more intentional about this and I really saw a difference. But I'm just going to go on faith and say we sent out some really powerful, loving energy, and that said that anybody that would welcome it, if they were aware of it, can have it. I think it's going to make a difference. And we want our world, our entire world, and the human race to be much more aware of the power of their words, their intentions, the contracts they enter into, the consents they give and revoke. They have a lot of power to give or withdraw. And we need to start wielding it wisely because it does make a difference. So again, thank you for participating. While I rattled on here, I was trying to give people a chance to finish up their last comments, because once I hit end stream, you won't be able to add to that. Although, as I said, you can always go over and add it as a comment under the meditation. I'm going to be ending the stream again with my sincerest thanks for your participation and the fact that you put up with me. And I know you say you don't, but believe me, I know this isn't a conventional thing, that there's not a lot of retired teachers who become tarot readers who offer a monthly meditation. I mean, the list is pretty short of that. And again, I'm not coming at it from a master angle. So I know there's some of you that have much more experience there going, oh man, she could have done that so much better. And maybe over time I will. But right now I'm just offering my energy and love and light in the best way I know how. And I thank you for being part of that yourself. So this meditation is going to conclude with my sincerest thanks and deep love to all of you in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.